Welcome to this edition of Pacific Magazine. I'm Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said in November of 2010 that the U.S.-New Zealand relationship is the strongest it's been in 25 years. The two countries have worked together on several multilateral peacekeeping missions, and New Zealand participates in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Militarily, the two countries hope to strengthen their ties through Alam Halfa 2012, a military training exercise here in New Zealand. The goal of the exercise is to exchange tactics and procedures, improve the defense capabilities of both nations in this part of the Pacific, and pave the way for a future training relationship.
Let's go.
The points naturally canalise the enemy to the north. Okay.
Single file way between him and our medic.
For the first time in more than 25 years, U.S. troops are training alongside their Kiwi counterparts on New Zealand soil. The exercise, Alam Halfa, is named after a World War II battle during which British and New Zealand forces fought against Germany and Italy in North Africa. Today's Alam Halfa exercise brought U.S. and New Zealand troops together for both a military and cultural exchange.
Well, Alam Halfa is designed to work on the interoperability piece between our two militaries, just get us used to working together. Different tactics, techniques, procedures, everything from movement formations, how you search someone, how you do a squad attack.
Stop pushing around like that.
It's good to get those done. That's what we're hoping to get out of this, but over and above that, just to kind of learn a little bit about each other, kind of get familiar between the two militaries again, and have some fun while training.
There was plenty of action on land, but the first phase of the exercise gave the soldiers a chance to do something they don't normally do: a sea movement. 316 American and New Zealand military personnel embarked on Her Majesty's New Zealand ship Canterbury to go from the South Island of the country to the north, where the field training exercise is located. New Zealand forces practice these sea movements for their missions, and this was a chance for U.S. soldiers to become familiar with the procedures.
Our guys need to come on board, they need to see the facilities so they'll be confident when they need to do it in a real-time situation. The processes involved in getting the guys on the ship, getting off the ship, loading vehicles, dangerous cargo, weapons, all that sort of thing they need to experience for the real-time situation.
The voyage lasted a full day, which gave both American and Kiwi troops embarked on the ship a chance to practice some of their rules of engagement and use of force drills in preparation for the FTX.
And then all you gotta do is pull back. So make sure your leg's inside of there, right?
A few hours before getting off the ship,
Get all the ammo central over here.
the soldiers drew weapons from the armory and got ready for the next phase of the exercise.
74, 92.
The ship's destination was the port of Napier on New Zealand's North Island. The soldiers were combat ready as they disembarked, loaded their gear onto trucks, and headed into the field. The first stop, Bridgepaw Airfield. Soldiers set up camp and get ready for their first mission. The Americans are attached to the Kiwi Infantry Regiment.
They're actually working in cooperation with us, so we're acting as their headquarters and giving the American platoon orders for any tasks. So similar to any other Kiwi platoon, they'll be doing exactly what Kiwi soldiers do.
The two sides plan an assault on an enemy position.
Objective clear is job done. Job done.
The Americans are pretty much split up into two separate forces integral to the operation. My squad, 3rd Squad, will be doing security for our final rendezvous point. That's the point where the force all gathers together as a task group and moves forward to actually do the objective operation. Our other 2 squads are actually going to be doing a route clearance to the objective itself, so that it will enable the New Zealand Defense Force sections to go ahead and do the objective capture.
The soldiers prepare for the assault, rehearsing movements and other tactics as a combined force.
We've actually picked up a few techniques and tactics from watching their sections and their platoons go through, and I'm sure up to this point they've been watching us and picking up a few things here and there. So we've done a couple of exchange type training days, so we're learning a lot.
It is good to strengthen our ties with especially the Americans. The only other time I've worked with the Americans was in Afghanistan, and it's good to actually work with these guys and find out a little bit about their operating procedures, especially before we have to walk into combat or on a joint operation overseas.
At the crack of dawn, the mission begins. U.S. soldiers and Kiwi counterparts sweep the main convoy road for improvised explosive devices known as IEDs.
We were using a mine detector sweeping the middle of the road, tripwires, any pressure plates, command wire, IEDs, things like that. And the role was just to make the route clear for the vehicles that were behind us. And then anytime we get a ping off of the metal detector, just pull a quick security halt, check it out.
The route clearance allows the rest of the New Zealand force to move vehicles into position and assault the enemy. The United States and New Zealand have worked together in combat operations before, and one of the goals of Alam Halfa is strengthening that relationship.
I mean, it's the opportunity for us to come out here and actually mix and mingle with a completely different countries, culture and military. So a lot of what we're getting out of it so far is just cultural exchange and different ideas about how to accomplish the same military goal.
I think it's awesome. The more we can learn from your guys' experiences, and the better. And hopefully we can vice versa get over to some of your training areas in the future and do some training over there.
Exchanging ideas, improving readiness, and laying the groundwork for future training. All objectives of Alam Halfa 2012. As the New Zealand forces conduct their post-attack procedures, the Americans get ready for the next phase. The soldiers have moved to the Waiouru training area, a place famous, or infamous, for its rapid weather changes. These soldiers normally train in the tropical climate of Schofield Barracks in Hawaii.
Train soldiers to be more adaptable, train soldiers to think about, what to carry with them, what to wear at certain times, how fast to move. So there's a number of important lessons learned at the individual soldier and in the unit level. That training in different types of environment definitely works in your favor.
The training in Waiouru included a live fire exercise. Move! The soldiers drilled on different types of infantry tactics and movements.
The purpose of today's exercise is to allow the American soldiers to collectively move, beginning at buddy team, all the way up to fire team, which is traditionally 3 to 4 men, and then progress all the way through squad, which is a combination of 8 to 10 men, and allow them to learn how to maneuver under fire while closing with and finishing the enemy.
They practiced with both blank and live rounds. Soldiers rarely get to choose their field of battle. And Sergeant Maney also talked about the importance of training in different types of weather and terrain.
Basically, the exercise allows them to experience terrain that we don't traditionally come across in Hawaii. More flat, open ground with rolling terrain and scrub brush. And this is what they will encounter today. A lot of long, open distances where they have to utilize movement techniques such as the 3 to 5 second rush and the high crawl, low crawl. Aside from maneuvering as a collective element with live rounds, they also get to utilize some of the equipment that they don't ever pull out in Hawaii. Their cold weather gear and learning how to operate and maneuver and function with that stuff on is pretty beneficial.
The soldiers also got to work with New Zealand range instructors and compare combat notes.
We do the same thing.
U.S. and New Zealand troops working together, improving combat training and strengthening an important Pacific partnership. Alam Halfa gave the American and New Zealand militaries a chance to work with and learn from each other. But Americans also got to spend some time in the New Zealand community, especially since they were here for one of the country's most important holidays. Australian and New Zealand forces fought for the British during the First World War. The Australia-New Zealand Army Corps, or ANZAC, was part of Britain's offensive at the Battle of Gallipoli against the Ottoman Empire, or modern-day Turkey. On April 25, 1915, ANZACs landed at Gallipoli and met fierce resistance from the Turkish forces. More than 11,000 ANZACs lost their lives in the fight. Australia and New Zealand honor their fallen every year on April 25th, known as Anzac Day.
Welcome to Diamond Harbour, especially our visitors from the USA.
U.S. soldiers took time from Alam Halfa to pay tribute. They attended a ceremony at a church and marched in a short parade alongside local firefighters in the town of Diamond Harbor.
I think it's nice for us to be able to participate in this. Although the U.S. wasn't part of the Anzac Alliance and we didn't have soldiers at Gallipoli, we certainly had a lot of folks participate in World War I. It really was a global conflict, and all of the nations lost a lot of soldiers in that conflict.
They answered the call of their country and were off on a great adventure. Few anticipated the costs.
Across the ocean at Hawaii's National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, U.S. Army Pacific also honored the Anzacs at a ceremony.
Lieutenant General Francis Wazinski, Commanding General, United States Army Pacific.
An indication of the strength of U.S. ties with its friends down under. The United States and New Zealand have been working together on military operations from Vietnam to Afghanistan. Alam Halfa 2012 was a way for both countries to build on those historic ties, train together, and learn a little bit more about each other as partners in the Pacific and around the world. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more about New Zealand as well. Reporting for this edition of Pacific Magazine, I'm Tech Sergeant Michael Jackson.